Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to go over analyzing the discriminant of a quadratic. So remember that a quadratic has the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So quadratic has the form ax squared plus bx plus c, and when we graph a quadratic, we know that this always looks like a U shape, and we call this a parabola. Now, if we're asked to solve a quadratic, what we're asked to do is set ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, and solve for x. And already you guys have been exposed to a variety of methods on how to solve quadratics. So we've seen the square root property, completing the square method, the quadratic formula, factoring, and then also graphing as well. So let's write that down. Methods for solving quadratics. So square root property, factoring, completing the square, graphing, and the quadratic formula. And briefly, just to go over, when we're finding x, what does this mean graphically? So if we have the xy axis, or the xy plane, and we graph a random parabola, when we're solving for x, we're finding where the parabola intersects the x-axis. So this is x, this is y. So we're finding the x-coordinates of these points. These are your solutions for x. And again, how we can find those algebraically is using the square root property, factoring, completing the square, and the quadratic formula. And for this video, we're going to be looking specifically at the quadratic formula. So remember that the quadratic formula states that given ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, we can find x by plugging in the values for b, a, and c into the following formula. So negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And again, this will give us the solutions that equal these 2 points on the graph. And what's interesting about this formula is the discriminant, which can tell us how many solutions there are going to be, how many real solutions there are going to be for x. So if we look at this part right here, so b squared minus 4ac is known as the discriminant So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. And this tells us how many solutions there will be for x. How many real solutions? Oops. There will be for x. All right, so let's start with identifying the cases of how many solutions there can be. So a quadratic can always have at most 2 solutions. So having at most 2 solutions, there's a possibility that x can be 2 different numbers. X can be just one number, so there's only one solution. And then there's the case that x has no real solutions. So let's look at how that relates to the discriminant. So if you're given, if the discriminant b squared minus 4ac equals 0, so then we would have the quadratic formula as such. So negative b plus or minus, we're substituting 0 into b squared minus 4ac, so this would be square root of 0 over 2a. And the square root of 0 is 0. And so then x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus 0 over 2a. And this just equals 0 over 2a is 0. And so then you would have negative b over 2a plus or minus 0. And negative b over 2a plus or minus 0, or plus or minus nothing, just is negative b over 2a. So this becomes negative b over 2a. So x equals negative b over 2a. So there's only one solution when b squared minus 4ac, when the discriminant equals 0. Only one solution for x. So, again, if b squared minus 4ac equals 0, then there will be one solution for x. 1, and let's specify real solution for x. What if b squared minus 4ac is negative? It's negative, and how we can write this mathematically is using an inequality. So we could say that if b squared minus 4ac, the discriminant is less than 0. So if it's less than 0, then this will just be some negative number. So this will be negative b plus or minus, and I'm just going to write b squared minus 4ac, and this has to be less than 0. So this would end up being a negative number. We don't know what it is because we don't know the values of A, B, and C. And remember that when you have a negative number under a square root, so here, this means that there are no real solutions. So no real solutions when you have a negative under a square root. A negative number under a square root. So therefore, x will not have any real solutions. So x equals no real solutions. No real solutions. So let's make a quick note of that. So when the discriminant is negative, so if b squared minus 4ac is negative, and I'll put in parentheses what this means mathematically, so it's less than 0, then there are no real solutions. And then lastly, we have the case if b squared minus 4ac is positive. So if b squared minus 4ac is positive, and we can write this using an inequality so it's greater than 0, x squared minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And b squared minus 4ac is some positive number. We don't have a specific example, so b squared, b, a, and c aren't defined, so we can just write that there's some positive number underneath the square root. Over 2a. And in this case, a positive number under a square root, this will give us a real solution. So there are solutions when there's a positive number under a square root. So this means that the solutions end up being negative b, let me go back to blue, negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of a, and we'll just say it's the discriminant, so b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So these are the solutions. And remember, we always separate these by commas, so this will be negative b over 2a plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, comma, negative b minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So there are two solutions for x. So if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 or it's positive, then there are two solutions for x. All right, so the discriminant really just gives you insight into how many solutions there will be for x. And so if it is equal to 0, if the discriminant b squared minus 4ac is 0, there will be one solution for x. If it's negative, there will be no real solutions. And then if it's positive, there will be two real solutions for x. In the next video, we're going to go over a few examples.